All right, guys, today, as you can see, we're starting this video outside. That's because we're gonna be testing some yard tools, lawn cleanup tools, whatever you wanna call them, things that you would use to kind of maintain your yard. Not that I would know anything about that. If you guys have watched me for any length of time, you know that I don't do those things. I just kind of let the grass grow and just let everything just do whatever it wants because I don't care. But for this video, we'll test them out. So, the first thing is an electric wood chipper. Completely forgot what this thing was called. It is from the brand Maxlander. It is 15 amps, and I don't know what to expect. Electric and wood chipper usually don't go together. You know, wood chipper is usually gas powered, big machines. This thing is just like little teeny tiny. I think if this thing does anything other than completely suck, I'll be impressed. It only accepts very small items. As you can see here, this is all you're working with. So like this is gonna be the biggest thing that you can put in there, and that's not very big. I don't know, we'll see. I hope it doesn't completely suck. It has a little catch bin to catch all the wood shavings and whatnot. So hopefully it does pretty good. It comes with this pusher thing, but it's like kind of weird. So I don't know how well it's actually gonna work. This is also obnoxiously loud. So you're not gonna hear anything. Okay, that was impressive. Whenever I found that big stick, I found that and I said to myself, this is gonna be the limit. There's no way this is even gonna do that. I figured in my head, I was gonna stick that in there, it was gonna immediately clog, and that would be the end of that. I'm already blown away just based off of that one thing alone. I got one more stick and then I have basically a small tree. So far, this thing is doing really good. Like, actually shocking me. I didn't realize that it was going to pull the stuff down in. Because I've seen videos of other, I think electric ones before, and they just kind of like, they didn't like suck whatever it was in. You had to kind of just like keep like jamming it in, and then it would like take it a little bit at a time, and then it would eventually like process it. I didn't realize that this would be powerful enough to just suck it all the way through, and that would be that. So that's impressive. All right, let's keep going. I guess we found the limit. Okay. I mean, that was still pretty good. Did we? Oh, okay. So I guess whenever you overfeed it, you don't have to reset anything. You just turn it off, turn it back on. Okay, that's not bad. Overall, I'm very impressed. But something I'm not very impressed with is it seems like you can't do anything that's got branches because it doesn't have enough power to like suck it down in there. And then the openings are so small that it's almost impossible to jam the stuff in there. But I think like that whole tree that I tried to just put in there, if this opening was bigger, I feel like very easily it could have handled the entire thing and it could have just sucked it all in and been done. But because of the way that they shaped this thing, it's just like, you just can't do it. What sucks is it works so good on certain things, like a straight stick with no branches coming off of it. It'll feed down in there, like you saw, it'll feed down in there perfect. So it has the power and it has the ability, but once you add some branches on it, there's not enough room for it to pull it down in there. So I feel like that's unfortunate. I think they should reshape this opening, and I feel like you'd be golden. I feel like it would just suck everything right down and it would be really, really good. I'm kind of have mixed feelings because it does work so good. But on the other hand, how many times do you have just like a completely normal straight stick without any branches hanging off of it that you want to put into a wood chipper? Probably not much. Like anything that you're going to want to chip, most of the time it's probably going to be stuff that looks like this. You know, it's going to be very small trees, branches that have other branches coming off of them that are going to be just difficult to process through here. You know, you could take your time and, you know, break them apart and feed them in one by one. But at that point, why not just burn it? Overall, for being electric, I am very impressed with this thing. So let's look at these, take a look at these wood chips, see what that looks like. Oh, the other thing that I didn't think about, or that I didn't mention, was I guess some people grind up this stuff to use like for gardening and stuff. So if you just need wood chips for something else and you're willing to take the time to process the stuff, this is actually, I mean, these are pretty fine wood chips. Or maybe like bedding for animals or something. These wood chips are really fine. So it does a fine job. As you can see, it doesn't do that good with the finer stuff. It doesn't do a great job of grinding that up. But all your thicker stuff, it does a really good job. So overall, I'm impressed. Okay, so before we go any farther, today's video is sponsored by Hungryroot. So what is Hungryroot? Hungryroot is an online grocery delivery service that makes it easy to eat healthy. Here's how it works. It's very simple. You take a little quiz, you tell them a little bit about yourself, you tell them, you know, your dietary needs, any goals you want to accomplish, anything like that. They take all that information and then they will send you a weekly box with 10-minute recipes. Now, one of my favorite things about Hungryroot is not only does it save you so much time because now you don't have to go to the grocery store, it just gets shipped straight to your door, but you get to edit your deliveries so you can pick what you want so you only get exactly what you want. Another thing I like Hungryroot is if you're like me and you tend to be a creature of habit, using Hungryroot can help you discover new foods. They also cater to a wide variety of dietary needs. And then not only that, they help you save time, money, and reduce food waste. And then on top of all of that, something else that sets them apart is they send you full-sized groceries. All right, so let's dump this out and let's see what we got that we can make for dinner. Oh, we got all kinds of good stuff. We got chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal, the big pretzels, which I absolutely love, sweet potatoes. I've tried these before, I love those. Some lemongrass chicken. I have my list of all of the recipes. This first one sounds good. Seared strip steak and organic green beans. Okay, we have a steak. We got green beans, okay? That's what we'll make for dinner. So let's just look at some of this other stuff. Fruit jerky, chocolate cake, banana bites, chocolate banana bites. Oh yeah, I've had those before. Those are really good. Let's make the steak and some green beans. And here we have our finished steak and green beans. I like to cut my steak up in little pieces, like a little kid. Let's give that steak a try. It's perfect, just the way I like it. Try some of these green beans. really good. And that was my first time ever cooking green beans. So if you're interested in trying Hungryroot for yourself, you can get 40% off your first box, plus you get a free item of your choice in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com, use code TUBE at checkout. All the links will be in the description, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. All right, our next product. This thing is called, as you can see, it's called the Storm Machine. This is supposed to be a cordless leaf blower that is supposed to be just as powerful as a regular leaf blower, but, you know, small and compact. When I saw this advertisement, I've seen advertisements for these blowers before where they'll have like the blower blowing something, and then in the background, they have like an air compressor blowing behind the camera to make it look like it's so powerful. This one is the only one that I've seen that I've actually got in my hand that I think might be half decent. You can see it has pretty big fan, and I've tested it just like, you know, in the house, and it does blow pretty hard, but I don't know what it's going to do against like a pile of leaves. But I can tell you one thing, I would never use this in my daily life purely because of how not only loud it is, but the pitch at which this thing runs is the most obnoxious pitch you'll ever hear in your life. I'll give you a little taste of it right now. It screams so loud and so high, I would never use it. But we'll test it out and we'll see how it does against like a pile of leaves. All right. That's about as much as I can take of that. That thing is crazy annoying. What's crazy is, like, listen to the pitch. How high pitched that is. If I just kind of like cover it a little bit with my hand, it's completely different. So I don't know if they need to put like something around the back, maybe like a little bit like an extension maybe on the front could maybe change the pitch. I think they need to figure out whatever they need to do to make it sound more like this and not like this, because that's insane. It blows pretty good. You know, I'm not crazy impressed by that, but it's not bad, especially for these like cheap Chinese blowers that you see all over the internet. What I do think that this would be really good for, if it wasn't so annoying to use, is if you were like washing your car or something and you want to blow the water off. I think this would be absolutely perfect for that. If it had like a little bit of a different like tip on the front, which I might do a second channel video one day, like 3D printing a different tip to see, you know, what the difference is. That could actually be a good video. If it made a different noise, I think, for like drying your car, or maybe like the bed of a truck, maybe. That, you know, if you have like a bunch of leaves or a bunch of something in the back of your truck that you want to just like blow out real fast, I think it could be good for that. Leaves, yard cleanup, that kind of thing. No, this isn't the thing. This thing is going to make you go deaf very fast. So I'm not super impressed with it, but I'm not upset about it. I think with some modifications, I think it could be pretty good. All right, now our next product. I was able to find a full-size backpack blower. I think it was $95, which is insane for a backpack blower. The thing about this is, it looks nice. It does work. I tested it. It does blow air, but I wish you guys could feel this thing, because this whole unit, I bet this entire thing doesn't even weigh 10 pounds probably. Probably somewhere around like 8 pounds for this whole thing. And that's even with some gas in it. So like out of the box, it was so light, I could have took this thing and thrown it off in the woods. It was so light. So that makes me believe that it's made with very cheap, very thin materials. They probably cut a lot of corners. So is it gonna work? Yeah. How long will it work? That I don't know. It's also very loud compared to your average backpack blower. You know, 3 or 4 different brands over my life. I've used Steel, I've used Husqvarna, and they're all, you know, they're not quiet, but they're not that loud. This one is probably the loudest one I've used, and it's very obnoxious to run, but it does work. Let's take it, we'll finish off this right here with it, so you can see what we're working with. So you can see that works pretty good. Another side note is the straps. This is as far as the straps go, I think. Yeah, this is as wide as they go. So unless you're like, I don't know, maybe 5'2", you're not gonna get both straps around your shoulders. Like I can barely even fit one. I can barely even fit on one. There's no way I could get, oh, maybe. Oh, no, I was able to get it. Oh man, but it's like, you can't even hardly, you gotta work it like with your shoulders back to be able to work it. So the straps could use some work, or like some aftermarket straps or something. But other than that, it does work, and it's cheap. So for what it is, I think it's pretty impressive. All right, now this next thing, this is supposed to be some type of weed puller. So the way this thing works, I believe, is it's got these 3 spikes. You stab this into the ground, and then you hit the button, and it will spin out kind of like a core of dirt. And then once you pull out that core, you have this, and then you can go like this, and then it'll push it out. Now, I don't really have any, I think this is meant for like dandelions and stuff. I don't have any dandelions, but I got some things that we'll try to pull out. We'll see how it works. I just don't really see this working all that well because, I don't know, maybe I just don't understand it, but we'll try. So like, we'll try with this thing right here. I think this is some type of weed. We'll put this right over top of this, push it down. Oh, you know what? Check that out. That actually worked beautifully. That pulled out like a beautiful core. So I guess that's the roots and all. Okay. Problem is, now we have a hole, which I guess if you want to get the roots and all, I guess you're gonna have that. So maybe get like a little bit of dirt and fill that in or something. That's actually a lot better than I expected. Let's try something else. Let's try whatever whatever this is. I think this is a tree trying to grow or something. Oh yeah, I think it is. It's kind of hard to stick in there. Oh yeah, whatever that is, it's tough. Doesn't have enough torque to. Oh, there's like a. That is a tree, I think, because that's like a root or something right there that's getting stuck in. Okay, so maybe it won't work for that. Let's just try. Let's just do another, like here. We'll just pretend there was a weed here. Oh, that didn't do anything. Oh, there we go. We got another core of dirt. I don't want to go around just making random holes in the yard, but I mean, this thing seems to work. I mean, if this is for, now again, I think this is for dandelions. These are obviously not dandelions, so I think it'd probably work pretty good. I gotta say, I'm impressed. This works better than what I had anticipated. What I thought was gonna happen was, you know, you have the ground. I figured you would stick this thing in the ground, and then these things would spin, and then you would just pull this out, and then you just have like your weed in the middle with like a trench dug around it from these things spinning. With the first one, what you saw was I put it in there, and then I think the roots of, you know, the weed or whatever also got wrapped around in there, so then it helped it stick and pull the whole thing out. I didn't take that into consideration. I didn't think about it like wrapping up the roots of whatever it is you're pulling. So I think that helps. Whenever I just did, you know, like just the dirt, it kind of had a little bit of trouble. But overall, like I said, I think this is for dandelions. So for that, I think it would do perfect, actually. So if you're into pulling out dandelions, this just might be the tool for you. Now, this next thing, I'm a little bit confused by, because it's this. This thing is advertised as the grass whip. So obviously you hold it like this, swing it back and forth. Now, I've seen something similar to this for cutting like weeds and stuff, which is kind of what I thought this was for. But the way it's being advertised on the box, they show a guy clearly dressed to golf. He actually has a golf glove on, and the grass is like perfectly manicured and short. And they show him using it in this type of grass. Is this meant to just like trim your grass? Or is this meant for like weeds? Is it only meant for the golf course? Like, well, what is it? I'm a little bit confused by the advertising. So I think we're just gonna do both. The grass is a little bit taller over here, so I'm just gonna swing around in the grass, see how that does, and then I'll find some like taller weeds. But I'm a little bit confused, but we'll see what it does. All right, so you can see, you know, the grass is a little bit taller here. So I don't know if am I supposed to get in my golfing stance and swing? I mean, look at that. It does cut the grass. That's for sure. I can't imagine trying to cut a whole yard this way. But it is cutting it. Okay, maybe you are supposed to cut the grass with this thing. I could see, I don't know, maybe if you had like a really tiny yard, like maybe like 10 square feet maybe, then maybe this would be perfectly fine. You wouldn't even need a lawnmower. You could just use this. But I don't know if that's what this is for. So let's try to find some bigger weeds, and we'll test that out. I don't know if this is really what I should be looking for, but this is what I got. Yeah, look at that. That cuts off the stems and everything. That's not that bad. Let's take our attention over to this little pine tree. See if we can cut through that. Get a real good, all the thing's getting kind of loose. See if we can swing through this. Oh, okay. I swung way harder than I needed to. I cut right through that. Okay. I'm impressed with that. Okay, so the grass whip. I'm impressed. I guess we'll classify this thing as like multi-use, maybe. It cuts grass. Don't know why you'd want to cut grass with it unless you have just, like I said, just the tiniest little yard possible. Then I could see where it would come in handy. You wouldn't have to have a mower, wouldn't have to, you know, have gas or run an extension cord for an electric mower or nothing like that. And then, I mean, it cut through that little tiny pine tree, so thicker weeds, a little bit of brush maybe, you could chop right through it. And I think this thing was like 30 bucks or something. Not bad. Overall, I thought this thing was gonna be completely garbage, but actually turned out to be pretty good. All right, so the last product we're gonna test is this. This is sold as a yard waste incinerator. It's really just a burn barrel with a lid, or really just a trash can with holes in it with a lid. Whenever I bought this thing, I was kind of under the impression that this lid would have, since it has this like cone on it, I was under the impression that this lid on the inside was gonna have like some type of like mesh or something on it. Because if you've ever burned like brush or anything, you know that anything that has leaves and whatnot, whenever you burn it, all the little leaf pieces, you know, fly off everywhere, and like they can, you know, land somewhere else and start a fire, and it can, in some situations, it can be dangerous. So I was under the impression this had like a mesh or something to kind of make it like safer to burn yard debris, so that you could kind of just like pack this thing full, light it, put this lid on it, and then all the like ashes and stuff would kind of be, you know, trapped inside, and it could burn and you're good. but that's obviously not the case. So I'm kind of curious to see what the advantage to this would be over just a typical burn barrel. You know, does the lid, you know, since it has the holes, does the lid, I don't know, like intensify the fire because it, I don't know, does it intensify the fire because of like airflow, or is this different than just like your standard open burn barrel? We're gonna find out. So I'm gonna load it up with, I got just some random pieces of like construction material. I got some branches, some leaves, typical like, you know, yard waste, and we'll light it up. We'll see what happens. All right, just so you can see what we have in here, mainly just like leaves and stuff. And these leaves and grass is kind of wet. There's some sticks down at the bottom to kind of, you know, create holes for air to get in, so we're not completely airtight. So should work out pretty good. Also, just a side note, I did not realize until I had just stuck my hand in there and I was getting bit by something, that this entire pile is just coated in fire ants. I don't know if you can see them crawling around in there, but they are everywhere, just infested in the whole thing. So those will also be getting burned as well, which will feel really nice. Now, this is not gasoline, so do not ever start fires with gasoline. It can be dangerous. This is not gasoline. It is something else. I don't know if we're supposed to just let that burn like that for a couple minutes maybe, and then we put the lid on, or do we put the lid on right away? Or what do we, you know, how's that work? Let me try putting the lid on now. See what that does. Hopefully it doesn't just snuff it out. Looks like it just snuffed it out to me. Interesting. Maybe we gotta let it burn for a minute? Because I don't see anything flying off of it yet. I really want to understand what this lid even does. Like, what's the purpose of this thing? Okay, let's burn down a little bit. Oh, okay, now we got some fire coming out of the top. Oh, no. Snuffed it out. Does it just like smolder everything to death or what? Oh, that's too big. Let me see if I can just use this. That doesn't seem like what we want at all. That should reignite, I believe. It's really just kind of like turning into a smoke bomb, if anything. Maybe we need some more of our fluid that's not gas. Okay. I got something going. Maybe the sticks and stuff that's on the bottom. Maybe we need that to like really get going, and then we can put the lid on. Probably also doesn't help that the stuff is wet. This is not working out the way that I had planned. I think it just needs a little bit more help. Okay, the fact that it didn't go up right away kind of frightens me a little bit. Ah, there we go. I need you to really get going. Yeah, I think it's because this stuff is just wet. All right, let's try it now. Will it just snuff it out? Yeah, just snuffs it out. Huh. I might need to run this back with just wood only and not any like wet leaves or anything. I'll just have to gather some up and maybe see how that goes. Yeah, I don't think we're really gonna get anywhere significant. So let's put that on there. We'll see what that does besides be like a smoke bomb. And then maybe after that calms down, I will empty that out. Maybe tomorrow or something, I'll empty that out, fill it with only wood, and maybe we'll try again. Because like technically in theory, if it's just wood, you should be able to get like a raging fire going in here, and there should be flames coming out of the top, I would imagine. Now it's just a smoke bomb. So I think we're gonna have to let this cool down and we'll run it back tomorrow. All right, try number 2. We are filled with just wood. So that should do much better. All right, hopefully this will give us the effect that we are looking for. Remember, don't start fires with gasoline. Ah, there we go. I kind of want to, while it's raging right now, I kind of want to throw this on, just see what happens right off the bat. Huh. It just seems to choke it out. Interesting. I'm really confused then, because I thought the whole point of this was to kind of, like I said, create like a vortex so that all the flames can shoot out of here, the holes can draw the air in. All that does is kind of create a smoke bomb and then force the fire out of the bottom. We'll let that burn for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Let it get real nice and hot and raging, and then we'll put that on and see what happens. I don't know what's going on down there. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. So all of the not gas should have burned off. So this should just be the wood raging. Let's go ahead and put this on. I feel like that's not good at all. It's like it's not enough oxygen. Although I do wonder if I could light that smoke. Maybe not. Maybe I'm an idiot. But I'm almost positive I've seen videos where the gas vapors are flammable. Maybe the lid is just to like slow it down, make it more controlled or something. Because it seems like all it's doing is just making it a big smoke bomb. And that's it. Let's see if we take this off. Does it just flare back up? Oh, it's almost completely out with the lid on. Okay. So maybe the lid is not a crucial part of this system. So that's kind of crazy. Maybe the lid just like, you're supposed to burn the stuff and then put the lid on after? So it's like just smolders or something? Yeah, because now there's just like one fire over here instead of the whole thing raging, which is kind of interesting. Let me try something. I got an idea. Okay, so you can see in the 2 minutes it took me to get this leaf blower, it raged back up. So I want to see, what if you were to just put the lid on and then take a leaf blower and put some air in the holes? Would that kind of give me the effect I'm looking for? Okay, that's actually kind of cool. That's really cool. I didn't expect all the fire to come out of the holes. All right, let's give it a little air. Doesn't really seem to be helping that much. Okay. All right, well, I think it's just pretty much a regular burn barrel. So there's not a whole lot extra to say about it. You burn stuff in it. I think the lid might just be like, you know, you put the stuff in it, you burn it, and then when it burns down, you just throw the lid on just so that nothing like flies away maybe. I was really hoping that the lid would, like I said, cause kind of like a vortex, you know, and then have like a big fire coming out of the spout, but I guess not. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.